this is Dr. Carlyle with drcarlyle.blogspot.com, and I have a video portion to follow up to my typewritten blog that has to do with this question that I've come to not appreciate so much. This question that says, when you're feeling emotional, will this really matter in 5 years? I'm not sure I like that question so much anymore, and in my blog I talk about why, and I give you 2 questions for you to consider. So what I want to do in this blog is to actually present 2 personal case studies of some things that demonstrated how I asked those 2 questions and how it got me more settled in an emotional way, and I was able to move from my present into my immediate future differently, and hopefully in 5 years, as I develop habits like this, what happens now will matter in 5 years if I become emotionally intelligent. So I'm going to tell you the first story right now. It actually happened when I was preparing this blog for you. So this is what just happened a few minutes ago as I was preparing this very blog. I was feeling like it was lunchtime. So I real quickly was making a quesadilla flatbread lunch with some nice skirt steak that I had prepared. And I was doing it real quickly, and so I put the little skillet on and I was doing my flatbread, and the burner got a little hot as I was finished doing it, and I quickly took care of everything, washed it off, put it back on the burner, which was actually still hot, and then went and was watching the television while I was eating my lunch. Well, my wife works from home, and she was upstairs, and she came out and she goes, "Is something burning?" And I immediately, my emotional response was a defensive one, because I am a good cook. And I do almost all the cooking in the house, and if I do say so myself, I think I'm quite good at it. And all that was going on in my head, and I said, no, nothing's burning, and I had this tone that really wasn't that good. So if I asked the questions that I put in my blog, the first question I would ask is, what was really upsetting me? And I have a series of questions that I put in the blog, and for me, I was feeling a little diminished. And I was actually feeling a little stupid, and all that started to happen very quickly because my wife was questioning if something was burning. The fact of the matter was, as I de-dramatized it, I did put the pan back on the burner, and the burner was still hot, and it was making a burning smell that always rises upstairs to where she is. So that's fact number 1. Fact number 2 is I have burned things before. I'm not the perfect cook. And fact number 3 is that from time to time, I do leave the burner on. We've been married 29 years, and I've done that at least 2, maybe 3 times. So as I de-dramatized that event and looked at my emotion and how I was feeling, I was able to quickly put that emotion where it belongs and have a nice tone as I continued to speak with my wife and apologize for contributing to the smells of the house at lunchtime while she was trying to work. So that's example number 1. Now I'm going to give you a different example. That might be kind of simple to you. It's just lunch. But I'm going to give you an example that pertains more to the workplace. So stay tuned for that. So now this is episode number 2, and it actually took place in the workplace not so long ago. I hate to admit that, but it has to do with customer service, because in my job, just like in your job, you have some sort of customer, and I have customers too. And in this particular situation, this customer was unhappy. Customer service did not get met for this customer. So instead of coming to me, or instead of coming to a member of my team, this person went around me and went around my team and went to a superior of mine and reported this frustration that was being experienced in this perceived lack of customer service. So that person appropriately came to me to ask about it, and I immediately became emotional, a little bit defensive. So in order for me to process that, I asked myself the same questions I'm recommending that you ask next time you feel emotionally unbalanced. The first thing that I asked was, why was I feeling this way? What was going on? What was going on in me is because of the end run aspect of it, and because this person could have come to me, I felt disrespected. And anytime I feel disrespected, I really have to keep my emotions into check. The other thing that I was feeling incompetent, because if customer service wasn't met, I have a high sense of meeting customer service needs. And to not meet needs made me feel incompetent. So then I had to apply the next thing about how to apply the facts to de-dramatize the situation. So what I actually had to realize is that this person is a reasonable person, but this person, sometimes their customer service expectations are kind of high. And I needed to remember that. I had forgotten that maybe the expectations of the person are higher than normal. And then on top of that, I had to stop and think about and trace what had happened, what this person had actually experienced. And there was room for this person to feel unresponded to, that this person was strung along just a little bit by me and my team because of some factors that we could control and some factors that we couldn't control that she didn't know anything about. So this person really had a reasonable response. The method they used might not have been one I appreciated, but they still used it. And what I was responsible for was my emotional response. So I was able to bring myself down off a bit of an emotional high within a relatively few minutes, and it worked well. So that's what I mean when I say, if we say, will this matter in 5 years, that situation won't matter in 5 years. It mattered in the moment. What matters in 5 years is my ability to skillfully talk myself through the emotions I'm feeling in the present so they can affect a different future. That's why I think stuffing something down and saying this won't matter in 5 years is not necessarily an emotionally intelligent way to process your emotions, but to deal with your present reality, learn to facilitate the emotions you're having, do something with those emotions, and go into the future in a different way. So that's my recommendation to you. May you live an emotionally intelligent day today. Take care.